An easy play. Fresh dress, living large, German whips in my garage. Most my partners called the charge for all this love. Break out the bars. Fresh dress, living large, German whips in
Here's
my
Messi.
garage.
Away from 2, 3, 4. Wonderful.
Rocket. These chicks be flocking.
All right, guys, welcome in. This is our YourFiltersChoice.com. Let me turn down my music there. YourFiltersChoice.com Wednesday night stream, preparing our DFS week for October 1st. So we're already in October, boys, and my name's Adam, also known as V12. I'm joined here with Walt Waddell, WDeuces85, and my boy Pete Cole down there. Check us out at our Twitter handles, and of course, you can check us in our free Discord. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing this evening?
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Yeah. What's up?
Doing good, brother. I just want to start by saying, I know you Astros haters are out there. I told you what was going to happen. So now you've been warned, okay? I want to let them know, Pete. Well, I have to let them know, because if they don't know, then now they know. Experience, okay? So I want to start with that, guys. It's going to give us some nice little momentum rolling into tonight. What you guys have to look forward to is we do have some Thursday night NFL football that will be covered by Mr. Pete Cole himself. We're also going to be rolling into some college football and EuroLeague with our boy Walt here. And, of course, if you've never played EuroLeague, I've actually covered it. Walt's covered it. I know we have Chris on staff that's covered it. It's a super awesome sweat, but you'll want to hear this content, so be sure to stay tuned in for that. And of course, with that, we do have some Premier League, Saturday soccer, and any other soccer slates that we have going on, which is quite a bit right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about our affiliates at the end. But guys, hey, we appreciate y'all joining us here at YourFiltersChoice.com. Check us out. Right now, we do have a 20% discount, as you may or may not know. So $40 a month right now will get you set up with all of the premium. I can't even keep my earbuds in. I'm so excited. All of the premium content with your premium subscription. You'll be in our Discords, which are all of our premium chats as well. So be sure to check us out at YourFiltersChoice.com. 20% off your first 3 months. Gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in our DFS worlds right now. I want to start with you, Walt. Tell me about what you've been playing, some of your content. How are you feeling so far with our COVID season right now with all of our DFS sports?
It's rolling with the punches. COVID has really changed, how we play, how they're playing sports at the professional level, and how we're playing DFS at this level. So, I'm just grinding out the last bit of WNBA. It's in the finals now, so I've been messing around with that. Obviously, college football season has been the first 4 weeks have been profitable. The only slates we haven't really profited on were a couple of random showdowns here or there, which that happens. Showdown can be random sometimes, but the main slates have been really good. NFL has been really good. You guys that are doing NFL for us are crushing it. Soccer, you've been killing it lately. So it's just, we're all doing our thing.
Right.
Chris is covering EuroLeague, but tonight I'm on the stream. I'm going to kind of highlight some of his favorite plays, maybe some of mine. It's going to be a team effort because, like you said, with EuroLeague, there's a lot of information and late lock and stuff like that. But yeah, just grinding these niche sports like I do, and playing NFL, rolling with my guy Mo Alley Cox every week at the tight end spot. So keeping that YFC tradition up of getting these random tight ends right.
Always, brother. And I know that was your boy. I know you wanted all the Mo Alleys, so that's how you roll, man. I guarantee you $50 a month right now, or $40 a month for your first 3 months is worth just our tight end takes alone right now. That's the money. That's the money maker right now, man. Well, hey, it's great having you. Obviously, we're going to be able to chew up some college football, some EuroLeague, and I know you're excited. We do have League of Legends World Championships going on right now. But first, I am going to want to jump in with Pete. Pete, we're going to be talking about a little bit of NFL Thursday, and we have a couple things to touch on. Obviously, we have content we want to talk about preparing for the Thursday game. But in addition to that, we also look forward to an audio chat with you and myself. We're actually going to be on our Discord tomorrow. So, Pete, how are you been, man? How's DFS treating you? How's the family? How's your health? You got the 6 skull cap on today, man. You rocking and rolling, brother.
Everything's okay. I had no idea there was a rain delay in the New York game, which is kind of. So I got J-Ram and just had an RBI double. Well, I hope this game doesn't get rained out. I had no idea it was raining here. But everything's been going good. Like I said, MLB, we're still rolling. I'm 8 game slate today. tomorrow won't be because obviously Houston is rolling to the next round, but we'll have a nice good slate tomorrow. It'll start getting smaller every day, but we got a couple good slates left.
Yeah.
Still hitting the showdowns, MLB, and then definitely in NFL. We have our chats on Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football. Like I said, you'll be joining me tomorrow to talk about the Broncos and the Jets. And we'll have we'll probably make a little GPP or cash lineup tomorrow and just go over some strategies. And this is a real great game we got tomorrow. 2 winless teams. So I was trying to think of a name for this game. Like we had the Stash versus the Beard and
the bum fight.
The other game.
The bum fight.
This I think is just 2 bums playing. So
yeah.
I haven't thought of a name of this one yet, but hey, the Miami game last week actually was a real was actually a great game actually for DFS. So hopefully this turns out to be the same way.
Yeah, and that old man, he decided to whip that youngster, that young whippersnapper, came into Fitzpatrick's place, and he just, he's like, hey, this is my state, brother. And so, that was a pretty awesome sight to see, man. I know you were super high on Miami with, in that game as well. So, man, we appreciate you joining us. I'll be honest with you, man. I know we got some cameras. We're going to get that worked out here in a second, but I'm a little banged up, man. I'm getting older. I told you I was at the gun range, and I caught my hand with the clip today. So I did that, and then I went to the masseuse, and she, I guess, was angry, and she got in. There was a deep tissue thing, man. So I was like, I felt a little sore, but I got all the negative energy out. I got some frustration out. So if you guys are gun lovers out there, I'm in Texas. Put your favorite stuff in the chat, maybe what you own. I'd love to hear and learn some new stuff, man. But I want to jump right into it, brother. Let's talk about NFL Thursday night. We got the Jets. We got the Broncos, and we don't got a lot going on in regards to the quarterback position from the Broncos. Let's start there. Tell me a little bit about Denver and what you have on tap for us in that quarterback position.
Yeah, right away, just look at the over-under 39.5. It's pretty much dead. It's a dead even, right? I mean, the Jets are slight favorites, but not by much. I think they're -1. And starting with the quarterback, I mean, we're starting with Denver. We got Brett Ripien.
Start wherever you want, brother. Start where you want.
So this is Mark Ripien's nephew, who's actually going to be his first game starting in the NFL. He replaced Jeff Driscoll last week, who replaced Drew Lock, who's hurt. And neither of these guys are elite quarterbacks. But if anybody is a college football fan, they will remember Ripien. He was a Boise State quarterback. He actually had a pretty good career. He was first team All MWC, Offensive Player of the Year, 2018, I believe. 13,000 yards, 90 touchdowns, only 29 interceptions, 4 years at Boise State. So, the kid's been playing quarterback for a long time. He knows the game. It's in his blood. It's in his family. So I'm interested to see how he actually plays tomorrow. I said after an impressive college career, he's been through 2 training camps now with Denver. And everything I've been reading today and researching, I'm hearing all these great things about the kid. He came in last week in the fourth quarter for Driscoll, and against the Bucs, who's a good defense. They're not a pushover, and he started out hot. He completed his first 8 passes, bang bang, except his last pass, interception in the end zone. But he did a hell of a lot better than Driscoll was doing last week. Last week Driscoll he was struggling to identify blitzes. He was holding on the ball too long, making bad decisions. And when Ripien came in, he did the complete opposite. So he actually looked. He looked good. Is he going to be in my captain spot tomorrow? Probably not. I think just Darnold is probably me. There's so many injuries going on here right now too. We'll just look at what happened in the NFL last week. We had Chris Godwin getting hurt. We got the Raiders. Their 2 rookie receivers are hurt. So, we have all these receiver problems now. And this guy doesn't have a hell of a lot to throw to, which we'll get into in a second. So, I'm probably still leaning toward Darnold maybe as a captain on FanDuel. But Ripien is –
okay.
Neither of them are – I guess neither of them are great. So, the Jets have a terrible secondary. And – I guess he can come out and throw 3 or 4 touchdowns. I don't know 4 touchdowns, but he can go out and throw a few touchdowns, and we'll see what happens. So that's my little take on Ripien. He's not really cheap though either. He's 10,000 and he's 15,000 as a captain. Mm-hmm. So he's only a couple hundred dollars less than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, they definitely priced him up. I was looking at Yeah, I was looking at the
Yeah.
pricing on there. He was definitely priced up. So they're obviously prepared for that. So free XP points for any of our people in our Twitch chat right now that are also in our Discord. If you can name what current NFL offensive coordinator used to be the quarterback at Boise State, whoever's first, you can nab those free XP points. But talking about Ripken, I think that the biggest thing is that he comes in with probably a very limited playbook. You know what I mean? He's not going to have a lot in front of him at his disposal. So going 8 of 9, those those kind of things can happen, especially whenever you have a backup come in, because they have a package, right? They can go in. They're like, all right, this is exactly what I'm able to run. These are my reads. I'm familiar with these guys. And what's really cool about it is that with all of the injuries, he's actually playing with a lot of the guys he probably practiced through over the summer with. So that's something to kind of look at. Good job. We got a correct answer, Kellen Moore from the Cowboys. So I think that Ripken does have upside to value here. I do think he's overpriced a little bit, but man, I really think it just strikes me as one of those games where one of these skill players, if we can just nail the right guy, we can probably just put in all the high price people we're never going to see snaps and touches, and then just kind of roll from there. But yeah, just looking at the quarterback position, I think that's just good to know that you have Ripken there, and they did sign Blake Bortles, so he's sitting there lurking in the wings right now, probably just chomping at the bit to get his chance. But on the other side of it, the Jets, you talked a little bit about Darnold. Tell me, do you feel like, is he a quarterback? You're a New York guy. Is he somebody that's going to have any kind of an upside or any kind of a route to being the highest score for the game? You mentioned him as a possible captain.
Yeah, I can see a captain on FanDuel, but you always want a quarterback in the captain spot because your price doesn't go up at all. But my question is, Sam Darnold, why is this kid even starting? He was a number 3 overall pick in 2018, and just this year he's thrown 562 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's completed 60% of his passes. But the good thing is, the Broncos don't have Von Miller with his ankle, so their injury list is growing and growing, and they've been shredded already by opposing quarterbacks. So. They're 29th. Denver's 29th in the league in passing touchdowns. They've allowed every quarterback that they've faced this season to throw multiple touchdowns. And the main thing with Darnold is he going to have somebody to throw to? Last week, I totally get it that he's struggled. Jamison Crowder's been out. Denzel Mims, the rookie's been out. Rashad Perriman out.
Yeah.
He's got a bad O-line. He ranks 33rd in protection. So 3% touchdown rate. So when you're throwing to people like Chris Hogan and Braxton Berrios, when they're your top receivers,
that's tough.
Yeah, you really can't get on Darnold that much. He's still not in a great spot, but if he gets Crowder back, then I definitely could.
I agree 1,000%. Agree 1,000. And we'll talk about Crowder here in a little bit, but let's go ahead and kind of move on to the running back position. Tell us what you have highlighted there.
Well, running back's a big question mark too, is we're wondering what's going on with Philip Lindsay. So, Melvin Gordon honestly doesn't really, for the Broncos, doesn't really impress me much. He's expensive. He's 16.5 for a captain. He's 11,000 utility. Honestly, he's an average running back going against an average defense. He's got 12 targets, caught 9 balls, so he's doing a little bit in the air. But he's not doing anything after the catch. He's averaging 4.1 yards per carry, which is meh. 1 touchdown. So he looked good against Pittsburgh week 2. Against Tampa, it was kind of mediocre. But once again, though, if he gets involved in a rushing game, in a passing game, he's got to do something. Somebody's got to do something on his team. So if he gets 20 touches, I still think he needs to break one, or he needs to score a touchdown to make value because he's so high. And I guess it all comes down to if Lindsey's in. Remember when the season started, he was 1A to Gordon's 1B. So actually, I think Lindsey got more targets in week 1. So he's not good value at all. But I see a lot of people paying up for Gordon, probably putting him in a lot of captain positions. He has the Jets, but I still don't see. To me, he's just looked very pedestrian. That's all he's looked like so far this season, and that's without Lindsey. So
yeah,
that's my take on Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I was going to say, with Lindsey, it's a toe injury. So with these running backs, man, anytime you have turf toe, those things are brutal. Like I mean, they're
He
painful.
could get hurt again.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, he could just come in and try to tough it out to add a dimension to the Broncos offense that they don't have. But I think it kind of goes back to the quarterback. What came first, the chicken or the egg here is that, Gordon was already there. And he's obviously established and carved out a role here. Now you're bringing in a quarterback with more limited experience, obviously. So, yeah, I was going to say they're going to have to lean on Gordon. And without Lindsey, that just brings up a huge snap share that you could very well see a 30, 35 carry game from him at 3 yards a carry, granted. And he's still going to break 100 yards just on pure volume alone. And that's kind of like, man, I don't want to play him here, but I feel like in cash, he almost has to be 100% owned because of the pricing and the available people that we have at those other positions. So, I mean, it's just something to think about. We'll obviously revisit that tomorrow. Talk to me a little bit about the New York side of the ball in regards to the running game.
So here, I mean, the Jets, once again, now we're talking about guys like Chris Hogan, one of these call him 7-Eleven, if anybody saw when he was on Hard Knocks. Now we go to the running backs, and now we got Frank Gore. I mean, guys like Frank Gore, Kalen Ballage. I'm very familiar with Kalen Ballage. And then, Gore's going to do nothing for you. I like Michael Perrin. I like him a lot. I mean, but am I saying he's an awesome player? No, but give the kid a chance. I mean, he got 7 carries last week, averaged 3.5 yards a touch. He was involved in the passing game, had 2 catches. I mean, he won't get a ton of work tomorrow, but at $1,800, I mean, that's pretty solid price. So if for some reason they sit the old guy Gore, Perrin could come in and smash. So I see Perrin as a little bit of value play at 1,800 because Gore, I mean, I don't know, they keep trotting him out there. I mean, he's averaging 2.5 yards per carry. I mean, and the Broncos rush D they're not easy. I mean, it's a tough rush D, and Gore's not going to crack anything. I mean, if you need him as a flex option, maybe, but he's 6,400. So I'm not paying 6,400 for Frank Gore.
Yeah.
And Ballage is just another story.
Right.
He's another crappy back. He's a shit back. So.
Yeah. So kind of a quick side note is that on Michael Pirine, he came out of Florida and he was actually drafted with the intention of that he was really going to compete for a starting spot with Le'Veon Bell, just the uncertainty there. Right. I think he has a really good dimension to his game. And I agree with you is that from just a running game standpoint, good thing is we're not in Denver. So there's not this mile high atmosphere and all this, but at the same time, it kind of goes back to what I was thinking about whenever the San Francisco 49ers played in New York, and they had a lot of turf issues and all of these things. And, this is obviously way outside the box, but, somebody like Gore or whatever, it takes time for him to get up and going. Pirine's the kind of guy you could throw in there. He can catch 3 or 4 balls and he can break one. You were on like some of these guys like Devin Duvernay and the Ravens showdown. Some of these cats coming out of college, they want an opportunity to prove themselves. And this is a perfect opportunity for him to jump in, take that starting spot and just, the coaches can roll with him the rest of the way. They can tank or be terrible, but they have a running back with upside. I mean, the guy, he was drafted with some draft equity. I do feel like he's going to have some great opportunity there. I do know, looking at the snap shares, I know we talked a little bit about that on Showdowns. You had Frank Gore at 41%. You had Wesco, I'm guessing, who's more of a blocking option, 23%. Pirine, 21 snaps, 33%. He outsnapped Ballage by 2 snaps. Ballage had 19 at 30%. So, I mean, they gave him the snaps. So clearly they're interested in giving him an opportunity. So I think that you nailed that one on the head, man. That might be the guy that we target in regards to the running back position.
And the only problem is, it's just typical Adam Gase MO. I don't even know why Adam Gase is still the coach of the Jets. I mean, he messes with so many decent running backs, so many young running backs, and I think he's a terrible coach. I dealt with him for a long time in Miami, and I just think he's a terrible coach. But another name I just kind of popped in my head right now too is just for a value play on GVP is what about Royce Freeman too? He's $2,800. I mean, he should get some touches even if Lindsey plays. I mean, I think if the Broncos get up early and just run the ball, you may see Royce Freeman stumble into a touchdown, fall on the ball in the end zone. So that's just somebody else to look at because that does tend to happen. So, and he's not like, he's a vet. He's been around now a couple of years. So just another name to throw out there for running back.
Yeah, we got a little bit more light at the end of the wide receiver tunnel. Let's move on to the skill position pass catchers, because I feel like we're going to dive into this infinite sadness that's running backs tomorrow. So let's talk about some wide receivers.
I'm totally in love with. I'm even looking at possibly a captain spot, and I very rarely use tight ends as captain, but I like Font a lot. He's 13.5 in the captain spot, 9,000 utility. I mean, he's been the outlet for Locke and Driscoll. He's definitely an improved pass catcher. He struggled as a rookie catching the ball. He's definitely much better. Last week he had 10 targets, and he goes up against a Jet secondary that has totally been smoked by tight ends. Last week, Walt's boy Mo Alley Cox went three catches, 50 yards for touchdown. The week before that, Jordan Reed, who's pretty much old now, 7 catches, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I see a monster game coming for Font. Probably 2. I see he probably has a floor of 2 touchdowns. I don't think the Jets can handle him, and I think he's going to have tomorrow's going to be like his homecoming. He's going to show up and he's going to destroy him. So he's not. Problem is he's not. I guess he's not cheap, but somebody's got to cost money in this game.
Yeah,
and then you got,
exactly.
You got Jerry Jeudy. I'm sorry. Judy's getting the volume right. Great TPP play. Yeah. He's looking for his first touchdown. He's got huge upside, and we have a value pick which I'll talk about in a second. But that's pretty much. And the Broncos, I'm all in on Font, and anybody else. With Cortland Sutton now, they do have some problems, but that's Drudy and Font, and then our value player we're going to talk about in a second. That's all I really have. Or maybe Tim Patrick, maybe. Timmy Patrick actually for $5,000 isn't bad. He's going to be starting up opposite Judy, and he doesn't get the deep ball, but he gets plenty of targets. So
yeah,
Timmy Patrick kind of went over my head a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the Broncos, it's one of those, you have to kind of get the guy that's going to bust it open, and whether it's Judy or whether it's Hamler or whoever these cats are that are going to show up. But I think Font's a great cash play. He's going to get plenty of targets, especially like you said, rookie quarterback or young quarterback. But on the other side, man, I can't help but love Jamison Crowder. I feel like he's gonna suit up for this one. I think he's an absolute smash play. He would, if he's suited up and I don't see any injury woes or whatever, I'm probably going to really consider captaining him in cash just because of the pure volume that Darnold peppers him. This guy could see upwards of 15 targets, and that's realistic from how they use him. He had 13 targets in his first game, and that's probably an average game for this cat. So what do you think in regards to the Jets and Crowder and that passing attack?
Yeah, definitely. If he plays, because I said they're so banged up, he's not terribly expensive. 12,300 as a captain, 8,200 utility. He gets. He should get Bassey. He can handle Bassey. It's a positive matchup for him. He's big time usage, like he says, in the slot. He's going to get targets. So, if he's healthy, like I said, with his usage and target share, it's usually through the roof. Yeah. Solid captain play, especially if you want to get some Jets exposure, even though, the game's going to be close. You're right. He probably is the captain if he's playing and is healthy, because there's not too many other Jet receivers I'm even going to go toward. Come on, Braxton Berrios. I would say I'd take a pass.
It's rough. I had to look. I was looking at the snap counts, and I was looking at some of these names on here. I was like, who are these guys? I think that you're going to see. Well, you'll probably see Hogan out there. You'll probably see it's because if Perriman's not playing, you're probably going to see a Hogan, Berrios, and Crowder. Set up at a lot of 3 wide stuff, because I would love to see Denzel Mims. He was a highly regarded. I think out of Baylor. The problem is I think that they want to make sure everybody's healthy. They're not going to rush anybody in any of these games. And, he's on IR. And it's just like, man, a lot of these guys I would be excited to see are hurt or not playing. There's Albert O for Denver, a lot of dynasty guys. But anyway, so, yeah, I'm not going to invest too heavily in these punt options here. I think kickers are pretty fairly in play, and probably defenses to some extent. I'm looking at this being like a legit like a 2017 game, and that seems high scoring to me.
Yeah, but just quickly, Chris Hogan. I was thinking Chris Hogan's actually made himself a pretty good damn career. He's been around a while, and he still somebody picks him up every year, right? So
Every
I'm
year,
not changing the subject, but
every year.
and I mean, kickers are always viable. I think probably a little bit less so in scoring games, but and people thinks probably two bad offenses can't move the ball. I'd probably like the kickers like when we had a Monday night game where it's going to be a shootout, but definitely the defenses probably I would take the Jets defense probably before Denver, just because the Jets are what are they 4,000, so
Yeah.
I don't I probably ain't gonna be messing with too many of those weird. But I mean the Jets are $1,600 less than Denver,
Sure.
so but once again Denver could a pick six take one to the house and boom. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we don't have to decide right now. Me and you get another full news cycle of NFL players coming out. So if you check us out tomorrow on our free Discord, we will have a chat in regards to specifically the Thursday night football game. Talk about cash deals. Talk about GPP. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Do your value pick. I didn't even. Oh, you're right. Go ahead.
What caught my attention was I saw the image on the screen. So.
Well, I did mention him. I did mention him that I liked him as a possible guy that can go yard. But I wanted to. You're excited about him, so I want to hear why you're excited about him.
I like KJ Hamler, 7,200 as a captain spot, 4.8. I don't know. It's just he's. I think the kid's a young stud. He's been hurting from Penn State. Anybody that follows Big Ten. I mean, he was one of the top receivers in college football. He had some huge plays in 2019. All Big Ten second team. He's one of these guys that he's electric. 940.
Going back to the East Coast game.
Second round draft pick. I just say like everything about him. He's small. He's only I think he's 5'8", 5'9". But what I think he's going to be a little owned because he made his debut in week 2. He had 3 catches for 48 yards. And last week was Sutton out. Everybody was talking him up, and he kind of was underwhelming last week.
Yeah, he was 3K. He was min price, so yeah. I mean,
exactly.
He did enough.
Week, people gonna be off him, and I think he's gonna do more this week. Really, I mean, and at that price, if he does crap the bed, okay. I mean, you're not gonna how much you're gonna lose. This week is 4,800, but I really think he's a nice matchup with the Jets. I think if Ripien's gonna air it out, I think Hamler's the guy who's gonna benefit the most. So I mean. If it's hopefully that if it's a close game, they don't take the air of the ball. I really think that Hamler could make a difference. I'm not saying put him in a captain spot, but he's definitely going to make a lot of my lineups.
Yeah, or do put him in a captain spot in GPP. I mean, that's obviously a way to play. Definitely. Yeah, I had this. I was up so many thousands of dollars when that Duvernay hit. I put him in a 20 lineups I made. I had him in like 15, and you saw it. I sent it to you, and it jumped from there. And then Tyreek Hill crushed me, and then Lamar Jackson. Oh, Lamar, why do you do it to me? But yeah, it was nice.
A lot of people don't think about that. Pairing a guy like that that's a
with their defense.
Yeah. They can GPP that way.
Dude, I look so smart. And I only sent it to you. I should have spammed the chat. But anyways, hey, listen, Pete. Man, I appreciate you giving us your value pick. Your MLB knowledge as we have the playoffs has been invaluable. I know you continue to work in regards to showdowns and any kind of classic slates that pop up. So you can see Mr. Pete Cole, and you can check him out on Twitter. He has his handle down below you, and he's at Pete YFC. It's just Pete Cole, I think, on the Discord. But yeah, you do have the YFC logo, man. And man, we appreciate you, brother. And like I said, hey. If me and Pete, they said in the chat, if we can coexist, the Astros and Yankees fans, anybody can, okay? So that's what we do here at YSC. We build bridges. So, hey, man, I appreciate you joining me. We're going to step out and transition over to talking to Walt at Dub Deuces 85 and talking a little bit of college football. But, guys, I just want to mention while we transition over, like I said, if you have not already checked out our wagering team on our free Discord, there is content out there. We have free chats available in our Discord, and of course on the website. There's plenty of content. Check them out. The wagering team gives you some TLDR, too long do not read, information and content out, so you can post wagers, and there will be single unit and 2-unit bets on there. So if you have more questions about that, feel free to @ one of our YFC team members, and we'll be sure to point you in the right direction. So, my man Walt, you ready to talk some college football, brother?
Let's do it. College football. Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
All
I'm
right.
following your lead. So it's just let's walk right in. Tell me what we got in regards to college this week.
All right. Yeah, we already been crawling, so it's time to walk and start running here. We'll get ready to make some money. So I like to talk about my preview of 3 players, usually what we do here on the stream. So first, I want to talk a little bit about quarterback that I'm going to be targeting quite heavily this weekend, most likely, at least initially. Skylar Thompson for Kansas State. He's 6,500 on DraftKings. He is getting the benefit of facing Texas Tech Red Raider defense. That's the defense that your boys at Texas, they pushed them, but Texas came out ahead.
So
Ellinger
close.
with 5 touchdowns.
Oh,
The
man.
offense is crazy. I mean, Texas Tech's offense is going to be amazing all season long for fantasy, but on the other side of it, their defense just can't defend. So Skylar is the one that gets to step in now, and he's really, I mean, Skylar's an exciting QB to watch. He's kind of a guy that seems to thrive when the spotlight's on him. He's got 3 career top 10 wins. Oklahoma seems to be the team that he's just, he's able to dunk on pretty much. He erased a 21-point second half lead in that game, and he passed a career high 334 passing yards. So a lot of, he's known kind of as a dual threat, runs a lot, not known to throw a ton of yards, but he did show he has that in his pocket now. Last year, we'll talk a little bit about his last year's stats. He had 12 passing touchdowns, 11 rushing touchdowns, so that's where you see where it's kind of the dual threat. This year already, he's completed 65% of his passes for 593 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it seems like his passing is really going to be more of a focal point. He still has 3 rushing scores on the year, too, which he did do that damage against Oklahoma. So that Red Raiders defense, they've already given up 262 passing yards, which was kind of low for Ellinger, but he had 5 total touchdowns, 6 total with the rushing score that he had. And then they gave up, of course, to DFS, the GOAT Bailey Zappi at Houston Baptist, 567 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. So quarterbacks so far, small sample, but we can tell that Texas Tech is going to be one of the better matchups on DFS, especially in the Big 12 conference. So Skylar Thompson at 6'5", probably going to see a lot of chatter about him around the industry. I would suspect he becomes pretty chalky even on a 12-13 game slate, assuming COVID doesn't hit us and take any out. So he's my first guy. In that same game, I'm looking a lot at. We're affectionately calling him Speed Racer. So Roderick Thompson, he had that speeding ticket, whatever hell happened, got arrested for. He's somebody who he's a little more expensive at 7-1 on DraftKings, but he's definitely worth a look. He's rushed for over 100 yards in both of his games so far this year, 2 touchdowns in each. He has 6 total receptions, so he's a part of that passing game from Bowman when he needs to be. Has an average of 22 touches in the 2 games, which if you're going to pay up 7-1 for somebody, that's something that you want. K-State rushing defense, they haven't been that good. Thompson has had to step up and win them games with his arm and all that. So the rushing defense has given up 144.5 yards on the ground so far. So one of my favorite terms to use is a guy is ham sending, a play on ascending and going ham. So Speed Racer is definitely ham sending for this slate. So he's a guy that you definitely want to look at. Again, Texas Tech is, especially in GPP, a prime spot to game stack because of all the good fantasy options. So that's the guy, I'm looking at for the Texas Tech side. Even if it's a game script where they're going to throw a lot, it doesn't matter because he's still going to get his touches. And then at wide receiver, this guy kind of has a permanent spot for me in my core. Jordan Addison for Pittsburgh. People were scared last week. We had him 2 weeks ago when he was 3.5. His price went up to 6.1, which was high. But he was facing a Louisville team that just they don't play defense very well. Taysir Mack returned, who was expected to be the number 1. So everybody jumped off for the most part. We were still high on him at YFC. Got him at 5, 6, 7%. He still had 21 points. He had another 7 receptions, 77 yards, and 1 touchdown. I'm still waiting for him to break that 100-yard mark, which I think may come this week. But yeah, he had another 21 fantasy point game for us. So He's somebody who is producing, and his prices dropped to 5.9 against an NC State team that really isn't playing that well against his position in the slot. Looking at targets, he's had 8 in week 2 and 9 in week 3 and 10 in week 4. So he's steadily climbing each week. 10 is refreshing to see with Taser Mack back. Taser did have 7. So they're still going to be able to coexist. If you guys remember last year, Mo French, who was on the team, the top, slot guy. I don't have a stutter. That's his name. He was the guy in the slot that was catching 12, 13, 15 passes a game. He was and 90, 100 yards. But he was getting all those.
I was going to say, you can't find him on DraftKings. You search his name, you're like, why isn't it coming up? And you just keep typing it in. You're like, you just got to keep typing. Just keep typing.
Yeah, Just keep typing F until you find it.
There you go.
But yeah, so he's kind of assuming that role. So the yardage hasn't really been there, but he's catching so many balls. 3-yard catches, 5-yard catches, and with the DraftKings PPR scoring. If a guy's going to, catch me 12, 15 for 7-yard gains at a time, I don't really care as long as I get those PPR points.
For sure.
So his position against NC State, Jaquari Robertson for Wake Forest, even though it looked horrible, he still caught 7 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. And then Virginia Tech, who was down 21 players for various ailments and COVID, they moved their tight end, James Mitchell, out to the slot. He did pretty well. He caught 3 catches for 68 yards and a score. So Addison is another guy that's going to be under that ham-sending role. I think that you're going to see him catch, another 7 to 10 balls and break that 100-yard mark. It's very soon. It's coming. But at 5'9", there's already people in the chat and the Discord bringing him up. He's right back in that core role for me. So I think he'll be probably a little more popular than he was last week, but still with all the wide receiver firepower on this slate, he's going to go overlooked a little bit.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think that the Texas Tech game is definitely one that, it just looking at the matchup, the K-State, and I'm just like, okay, that has fireworks obviously written all over it. So that's something that we can target there. Tell me a little bit in regards to just when you're looking at college football and you're looking at betting lines, there's a lot more games, different conferences, but there's a huge talent disparity from a lot of these teams. So how can we avoid getting in, I guess you could say, where we're too heavy on some of these favorites that could be in a blowout spot? And if you want to target something that's a little bit closer, what should we be looking at as a DFS player in regards to college football and games that we could attack more than one piece of?
Yeah, so definitely, it goes without saying for, when you look at odds, whichever site you use. I like to look at FanDuel Sportsbook because they usually have every single game. Totals is something that a lot of people will, they'll live and die by the total and spreads and all that. And I tend not to do that, but I will use, when I'm looking at a slate and I see a bunch of 48s, 51s, and then, like Texas Tech 70, then yeah, of course I'm going to target that. And then I'll look at, players. We don't have a ton of data with only 2 or 3 games for some of these guys, but we do have some for last year for some of these players. I'll look at in this game script, okay, this team, when they get blown out, do they still use, this Chuba Hubbard, for example, does he still get his touches? And ordinarily he does. Lately, he hasn't been. Lately he's been killing us and not usable. But it's just an example of he used to be a guy that you could play him in any kind of game script. So that's what I really dig into and try to look at and see, okay, this guy, he's not going to get. They're going to be behind. They definitely show that they don't run the ball. This type of offense, I'm not going to use that running back. This receiver is going to get a whole bunch of more targets. Kind of just basic stuff like that. But there are players, and that might be where an edge comes in because people sometimes blanketed just, they play all these sports, so maybe they don't dig in as much as we do. They'll see, this total's high, or this team's going to be behind 21 plus. I'm going to play the receiver and be fine. But it might be that he doesn't get that many targets in this situation.
Sure.
So that's where we'll dig in a little deeper and find that info for you guys.
Okay, fair enough. So 2 great announcements for college football. For those of you that have been playing, we're obviously ramping up our college football game from the team here. We will be having the normal college football podcast that I know you're involved with, and then of course having that recorded for people to access that on our via different platforms. And you can check out yourfielderschoice.com and you can click on those links on there. But we have some exciting news for Saturday. Why don't you tell everybody and let us know what's going on Saturday now?
Yeah, so normally on Saturday we do the live Discord about an hour before lock, and people tune in and listen to that, and we kind of break down, any late news. The last of the starting lineups come out. We're actually going to be doing that on the Twitch stream now. So you'll have our beautiful faces on there. Get to see my pretty mug. And I got the fresh haircut for you guys. You know, doing
There you
the Adam buzz cut. It's not all the way to the skin though. I got to go maybe a little more.
Not yet.
And
Step up your game
so
more.
yeah, so we'll be on the Twitch stream, Pete and I, and we'll be kind of giving you guys, you know, that breakdown there on the actual stream. We're kind of the rocket emoji that I like to put in the Discord. Just imagine that's, you know, going up for us. So we're doing some big things, all sports, but we're excited for college football to be doing that. And we also got some stuff planned for the name of the podcast and some potential logos and stuff like that. So lots of cool stuff coming.
Awesome, man. And we're excited for obviously that live content. If you're playing college football, I know you're looking for, you know, different sites, or you're just trying to search around for information, guys. I recommend you just come to YFC, you jump in that live Twitch stream. There's going to be plenty of info nuggets. You can ask questions in the chat, interact with our coaches here. So highly recommend. This will be at 11 Eastern on this Saturday for our college football main slate. We got a big slate up there. So if you're not already involved in getting these updates and things like that, make sure to like and subscribe us here on Twitch. And Walt, Pete, and our college football team will be giving you all the goodies on Saturday morning. So that's exciting, man. I do want to talk about something that I'm personally excited about because it's EuroLeague season is here, EuroLeague basketball. So I want you to talk to me. I know Chris couldn't be here this evening with us. I know he's doing a lot with our EuroLeague team. But Chris, Walt, myself, we're all going to try to – it's a team effort, guys. If you never played EuroLeague basketball, there's huge edge to it. But at the same time, it's tough because information is king. You have to – if you're going to play, be by your phone or your laptop or something because anything could pop off and you may have literally 60 seconds, if not 30 seconds notice about a potential starter that's going to be jumping in. So tell me about some EuroLeague basketball, Walt.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Chris has done a good job. A great job actually. He put out the roster. There's been a ton of changes. So first of all, there's like Nick Claytis on a new team, who's kind of been a EuroLeague mainstay. But there's a lot of changes. So you definitely want to dig into that. I won't go into that because that's so much information. You guys want to read that and kind of get yourself acclimated with the names. You're going to recognize a lot from NBA experience or Olympic experience and all this other stuff. But as you were mentioning, there's a couple sites that are doing projections this year, which I don't think they did last year, and it's a rather big site doing it, and that to me that means some people say, oh, it's gonna kill the edge, but really it's not, because there's no way they're gonna be able to have projections for EuroLeague when the guy they have projected doesn't start. So say it's a guy, and this is what happens in EuroLeague. You'll have a guy who starts 2 or 3 games in a row. He looks really good, and then all of a sudden the starters drop a minute, if you're lucky, a minute or two before lock. And that guy doesn't start, and all of a sudden he becomes a really bad play, and the field may still be on him, but if he doesn't, the thing about EuroLeague that's frustrating, rarely, unless a guy gets into foul trouble, unless he starts, he's just not going to get a lot of minutes. They believe in their starters and they play them a lot of minutes. So if you're not around for that, it's going to make it really tough. But I think that other sites having projections is going to help us. And projections are good because it gives you an idea and identifying value. But I think people, like I said, they're not going to be able to react fast enough to this news. And that's where you really want to be in that, either the premium Discord or, in the EL chat that we created on Discord and just available for that information. Because sometimes, unfortunately, it's like 30 seconds before lock when it comes. And we'll show you how, what we'll do is we'll go a step further and kind of show you guys on the EuroLeague site how to find that info. Sometimes you can get it on Twitter. But there's we call it the orange square on the EuroLeague site. It'll be loading, and you'll be hitting enter, and reset, and refresh. And hoping that the starters will pop up. But the orange square of doom. Sometimes it's good to you, and sometimes it's not. But that's going to be the main edge. It's just getting the starters. If you get people who start into your lineup, and that's a lot of times they'll be a cheap guy, and it's really highly recommended you throw them in there. You'll get burned once in a while. Sometimes you won't play as much, but you usually want to play the starter. And I will say, when a normal starter isn't starting, sometimes there's a secret injury, or he did something to piss off the coach, or whatever it is, and he won't play at all. And you won't have that info, and you'll still take a chance and say, well, he's not starting, but he's been so good. You don't want to pay 13-2 for Shane Larkin if he's not starting. You don't want to take that chance.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, and more commonly, probably what it is the coach is actually smoking a cigarette on the sideline. He flicked it. It hit the sheet that was running across the court, and your player tripped on there during warmups, so he won't be in.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to find that if you know the information sources on Twitter. It's a lot. It's a lot of follows, a lot of updates. Like you said, Orange Square of Death, man. And so that website sometimes, whenever it updates, you literally will just at the chat, and you guys are just free reign to kind of jump in and make sure that you're good to go. But there definitely are some studs there. There's going to be some value, but I think that Chris mentioned it. You've probably mentioned it. I will mention it, is that don't go crazy at the very first couple of weeks of EuroLeague. It's good to see some rotations, especially how new teams are going to be using some of these players. Like you said, with, Calathes coming back, to a different team. I know Barcelona has always kind of played traditionally more of a spread out. Like, they've had a lot of big men that have been good for years, and now they actually have a guard that can distribute. Calathes isn't a big scorer, but he's a triple-double guy. You just count on that. You pay for him for that triple-double, and you want to lock that in. And obviously you got your guys like Mike James and Larkin, and of course, like I said, there's some mainstay names here. And I think that, kind of looking down, I'm just like, man, I'm seeing a lot of these points per game, these rankings and stuff. And for someone like me, probably like you and people that have done this for a while, I'm going to be doing a lot of head-to-heads of names that I don't recognize, and people I'm going to be picking off some fish that are going to be in that barrel. So, I recommend, if you haven't already joined up or read our content with YFC, the EuroLeague team is going to be here to help you guys out and to grind and to build your wagering portfolio. And I know Walt, Chris, and myself are going to be helping out with that as well. But I think me and you could probably talk EuroLeague for a couple of hours at least. So what else before we move on there, is there anything else on EuroLeague you wanted to mention?
Just like you had mentioned, it's important with the new roles to not go crazy this first couple of weeks. A good example would be Mike James. He's joined CSK last season. The season before that, he was with AX Armani. And he was consistently putting up like 40 to 50 fantasy point games. His scoring actually went up with CSK, but all his other stats went down because they have able-bodied rebounders. And so he was putting up more like 30, 35, which is still a good score. But I mean, he dropped almost 15 fantasy points per game just switching teams. And he's still so something to be aware of, because that was a guy you used to just plug and play. You'd pay his salary no matter what and get your 50 and move on. And now it's the type of situation where you want to make sure that his role is still going to be the same. Calathes is going to be something that everybody's going to be watching to see what his role is going to be. There's a couple of guys that now that they're the guy on their team, because the star that was with them left, so there's going to be a lot of different roles, and we'll be able to dig into those and speak to those more as we get a couple of games under our belt. I know Chris has been doing it, and I've been reading a lot of game logs from the preseason. The EuroLeague teams played the Euro Cup teams in the preseason. Kind of see if I can identify anyone who's been killing that. And the coaches seem to be high on the stat PIR, which is something that their form of efficiency ranking that they use. So I'll look at that to see who's kind of trending upward and kind of go from there. So it's a lot of data, but it's super rewarding. Like you said, if you can find people in head-to-head, they'll play guys who they're injured, and it's low-key, they don't even know it. So you can find a lot of fish out there.
I was going to say, if you can find these domestic logs, I know Flash Score has a lot of stuff, which is a great resource. I'll definitely plug them as someone I will go to say, hey, look up this team, Flash Score, and I'll search it, and then I'll pull up Flash Score and that specific team. You look at their domestic games, and what's cool is you can get a lot of information about a lot of these leagues, and then a lot you don't. Like, if you get into some of these Turkish leagues, you may not find domestic logs. You may just find the score and who played, possibly, if you're lucky, and you kind of go from there. But the one thing I will say is EuroLeague's different because, like Walt said, a lot of these teams have solidified starters and they play a ton. And then but if you get somebody and they get 2 fouls within the first 5 minutes, they're sitting until the second half. That's the way it always happens in EuroLeague. Or they may come at the very end. But, just keep an eye out for value and different names of people that are going to pop in and just kind of show up. And what's cool about it is you'll see names from people that were in the NBA. You're like, wait a second, this cat was in the NBA. And then you're like, you'll want to follow to see if they get some run. But, yeah, man, I'm excited, brother. I know you are too. So look forward, guys, to some content from that. And as Walt is covering college football, obviously he's still working with our League of Legends and our World Championships right now. Just a quick 30-second update. Give me on your worlds, where we're at right now. I know you can cover us to get us up to speed.
Yeah, so we just finished the play-in stage. We had a couple. There were some 4-game slates, 2-game slates. It was kind of like the EU Masters like that. Now we're gonna have for the next starting Saturday for the next 4 to 5 days. There's gonna be 6-game slates, which is awesome. We rarely get slates that big and spread ownership out. We're in the main stage now. It's a double round robin. Everybody in their groups, the group A through D, is gonna play each other twice. One of the first matchups is JDG versus DWG, so that's going to be one of the premier games to watch. Two of the teams that I think are going to end up in the finals. But yeah, we'll have content out for that, of course. Like I said, 6-game slates. We'll be digging in tough on that. There's already been some players and smaller teams that like Unicorns of Love from the smaller region that have emerged. So lots to cover there, and we've been our edge has been showing through. We Mad Lions were playing a team called Supermassive. Everybody was on Mad Lions. They almost lost to my CB Low guys, INTZ. I wasn't feeling them. I didn't trust it. We all went super here at IFCA, and the subs, they were like 10%, and they ended up smashing online. So we'll have some edge for you guys for sure.
I love it, man. And you'll see a lot of the League of Legends, the esports in our winning lineups room. So check us out on our free Discord. Check out Walt at WDC85. You got his Twitter handle down at the bottom, man. Walt, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you for all the info and continue to keep crushing, guys. We'll be looking forward to hearing from that college football podcast from you next, man. Guys, we're going to transition over. Yeah, man, I appreciate Walt joining us and Pete as well. We're going to kind of close out. We have some Premier League soccer, and, of course, we have Europa League and Champions League that's kicking off right now. We will talk a little bit real quick about our Premier League preview. I know a lot of you guys, if you have not already dabbled in soccer, a lot of people new to the sport have started to jump in, and it's an awesome sweat, man. A lot of these guys are jumping in, they're asking questions, they're reading the content. But the great thing is, if you have not started playing, now's a perfect opportunity. The Premier League is just now starting. Usually they play on Saturdays and Sundays, so in addition to your regular classic slates, there's a lot of different showdown stuff that you can jump in on. But the great thing is the content is universal. FanDuel, DraftKings, and you can look at it from a single game aspect. Every one of the diagrams is on the screen. It'll give you a player pool from cash, GPP, and then you're set. Take your favorite captain picks. So all of this is available to you, written by yours truly. I do want to talk real quick about our Premier League slate we have this Saturday. As you know, Premier League is the primary #1 top-class league in England, and we get some of the best soccer in the entire world on there. But we do have a small 2-game slate. There's a lot of other soccer going on. I actually will have an article in regards to some different leagues, some Europa League stuff that we actually have going on tomorrow if you want to start your soccer sweat. But this Saturday, we do have 2 games. Everton and Brighton are going to be facing off in the early game. We have an early showdown that will start at, I think, 7:30 a.m., I believe, on the East Coast. But with the other game, we have Manchester City and Leeds United. So I'm excited, obviously, to play some EPL soccer. The great thing with EPL soccer is if you haven't already jumped in, you will know that Saturday is a big day for us at YFC. So you can temper your bankroll a little bit and kind of spread it out among college football, amongst soccer, maybe wrap it up with some evening MMA action, and all of these things are available to you. But the Premier League is exciting because we get a 2-game slate. We get a Leeds United team recently promoted from the EFL Championship facing off against Manchester City. The great thing about Manchester City is they're extremely talented. They're fun to watch. They're also very, very expensive. But the great news is that we actually have 2 of their best players, their strikers actually, Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, are actually going to be out for this game. So what you're going to see is a little different formation, probably a more Clark Kent, less Superman Manchester City that's going to be showing up. They'll be playing Raheem Sterling, most likely at the false 9 position. He'll be falling in. He's not a normal traditional striker, which those guys are target men. They're all about being at the point of the attack. They're worried about finishing the play, not creating the play as much. Raheem Sterling from the England national team is actually one of the best players in the world. He's a creator. He's a speedster, dribbling, shooting. He can do it all. He'll be playing centrally for Manchester Manchester City. So he's someone I do want to target just because of the fact that he's going to see a lot of the ball. He's going to get every opportunity to score. He's going to have some great service from some of the world-class players like Kevin De Bruyne. Ferran Torres came over from La Liga, could be starting on the right wing, or it could be Riyad Mahrez. And then, of course, on the other side, you may get Bernardo Silva. We may get a Phil Foden. And that's usually Sterling's spot out there on the left wing. So Raheem Sterling's someone I'm really going to be targeting for EPL Saturday. And in addition to him, his teammate Kevin De Bruyne is extremely expensive, as well as one of the best cash piece players that you can have in DFS soccer due to his accrued stats that he gets in open play or on set pieces with his crossing, shots assisted. There's a ton, and that's all broken down in the article for you. But we will be targeting Manchester City as they are on the slate and someone that we really like. So your question to me, I guarantee you on Saturday, you're going to be playing like Adam. Well, how do I play Sterling? How do I play Sterling? How do I play De Bruyne? And then how do I have money left over for any additional pieces? Well, only being a 2-game slate, the great news is that we don't have to stack Manchester City here because they're going to be a little bit different looking here. And you say you didn't want to play Sterling, that would be fine. Someone I am going to look at a little bit of a depressed price here is going to be formerly from La Liga, actually from multiple leagues. Yeah, James Rodriguez is a player that made his name in the World Cup, playing for his national team, and he's now actually going to be showing up here in the Premier League for the Everton side. James Rodriguez has come over, and he, wasn't used at Real Madrid appropriately. He's coming in as a player that has a lot of class. He's very quick. He can create set pieces. He can, put in through balls, corners, whatever this guy can do for Everton. He's going to completely change that team around. If you haven't already watched these guys play, I do know that whenever they were playing recently, looking at James Rodriguez, he started against Crystal Palace, played 86 minutes, started against West Brom, and started against Tottenham. And he's logged over 78 minutes in each of his 3 starts right now. He has 12.6, 29.1 in a big, huge West Brom blow-up game, and then 12.6 fantasy points at 8,300. On a Manchester City slate, he may get overlooked, but James Rodriguez is somebody for Everton that I'm going to actually love to play. And the great thing is he provides you positional flexibility. He's forward and midfield eligible. For my man Mickey, that's a huge soccer fan, and he's here producing this show. Gervais on our wagering team. They know that these players that are coming over, they're still world-class players. And they may have gone to a team that wasn't using because that team was just super stacked. But James Rodriguez is going to get every opportunity to do damage for Everton. He's going to be playing probably in a 4-3-3 type of position or playing up top with Richarlison. But now with James Rodriguez, you have Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison playing in a 3-man attacking, a forward set, I guess, for Everton. And so the upside is going to be huge from a goal and assist standpoint. So James Rodriguez is somebody I'm going to be looking at on EPL Saturday. And I'm probably looking at getting some value pieces. I do know Lucas Digne is someone that he's been looked at in the past in EPL as a Trent Alexander-Arnold type at the defender position. He's extremely pricey, 6,600 on DraftKings. I know he's expensive on FanDuel too. The value isn't there right now. He's not getting a ton of the set pieces. He had 6 crosses and 13 crosses and then 7 crosses. That's great. But at 6,600 on a 2-game slate, we're going to be looking for some goals, assists, and we're going to use more of a Star Scrubs type of build. So check the content out. Read it. Digest it. If you have questions, you see my Twitter handle down there at the bottom. You can reach me at YFC or at V12 on our free Discord. Like I said, there's plenty of avenues to be able to reach out to our coaches. But guys, this is going to be a little bit of our, soccer talk is going to be involved around a lot of new players that have never done this before. But there's going to be, in the winning lineup stream, you're going to see plenty of people winning money in there just because it's a sport that there's not a ton of information out there. You can't go to one of these big boy sites and get these optimizers and expect them to pump out these numbers because that's not the way soccer works, man. It's matchup dependent. It's formation dependent. It's game script dependent. There could be different things to be playing for. So we're here to help you out to expand that DFS portfolio. There will be prize picks, wagers that will be on all of our articles, especially our soccer articles, for you to be able to diversify your portfolio as well on there. But like I said, guys, there's tons to play right now at YFC. If you haven't currently taken advantage of our 20% off your first 3 months promotion right now, $40 a month. I'm pretty sure you spend more than that on beer. I know I do, but I'm just saying, set that aside. $10 a month, man. It's going to be worth it because you're going to be able to grow your bankroll. You're going to be able to grow with a great community of guys, girls, people that are interested in not only making you a better player, but interested in investing in our team for the long haul. So the best content in the entire industry, YFC, yourfielderschoice.com. I do want to talk before we close out. Our affiliate Prize Picks, man, they've upped their game up and they're betting on us, and we're gonna bet on ourselves. But Prize Picks actually is offering us a new promotion. If you haven't joined PrizePicks.com, it's a DFS wagering site where you are using prop lines to bet on the DFS points scored between players, and you're basically betting it over or under. You can do a 2-pick, 3-pick, or 4-pick entry. You can flex, and you can also power play these entries as well to be able to exponentially increase your winnings. So if you haven't already joined prizepicks.com, use our code YFC right now. They're offering a 100% deposit match. Okay, 100% up to $100. This isn't the 25% that they were giving us before. They're like, hey, these guys are bringing in people. They're sharp. We want to be able to help them as they're helping us. So we're growing together with these guys. They already have a partnership with the Atlanta Braves, and we want to continue to grow with them. So prizepicks.com using code YFC, 100% deposit match up to $100. I do know with the previous one, we were getting a free 2-pick entry to win $50. But guys, if you're getting free money, 100% match, you cannot beat that right now. So for all my coaches, from me, from my producer, Mickey, guys, we appreciate you. Check us out, yourfielderschoice.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you like and subscribe our videos on YouTube, and subscribe on our Twitch channel. Like I said, if you're already an Amazon Prime member, you can actually just change your Twitch Prime to be able to follow us, and it's free, guys, and it mutually benefits us. So I don't have anything else, man. We're going to have a great DFS week starting tomorrow with some Thursday Night Football, and, of course, with some soccer articles and EuroLeague starting tomorrow. Jump in with us now. This is V12 signing out. Have a wonderful evening and a great morning if you're listening tomorrow. See you later.
German whips, fancy cars, they play the game but they know who the champions are. Every time we pull up it's like a damn bazaar. They scream my name, try to get us on the camera. Flashing lights, so I ain't the flashy type. I just push a big whips with the fastest pipe. Can't match his price, I don't nigga catch for life, but I still never pay the full package price. And fuck the law.